Hey
Hey
everybody,
everybody,
this
this
is a
is a
geometry
geometry
construction
construction
lesson,
lesson,
and we're
and we're
going
going
to
to
demonstrate
demonstrate
on
on
the
the
exam
exam
papers,
papers,
right?
right?
The
The
exam
exam
questions
questions
that
that
came in
came in
2025,
2025,
2024,
2024,
23,
23,
2022,
2022,
and
and
2021.
2021.
So
So
this is
this
a
is a
complete
complete
lesson. We
lesson. We
want to
want to
see
see
like
like
all the
all the
ways
ways
that
that
these
these
questions
questions
come.
come.
So
So
you
you
observe
observe
that these
that these
questions
questions
have the
have the
same
same
pattern.
pattern.
You
You
just
just
need
need
to
to
understand
understand
how
how
to
to
do
do
this
this
stuff,
stuff,
right?
right?
So
So
we
we
have
have
set
set
squares,
squares,
right? We
right? We
can
can
use
use
them
them
to
to
carry
carry
out,
out,
short
short
lengths
lengths
from
from
0
0
to
to
10,
10,
or
or
draw a
draw a
right
right
angle
angle
triangle,
triangle,
but
but
I
I
won't
won't
necessarily
necessarily
use
use
any
any
of
of
this
this
stuff.
stuff.
Maybe
Maybe
you
you
may
may
want to
want to
use
use
them.
them.
This is
This
a
is a
divider.
divider.
A
A
divider
divider
is
is
simply
simply
used
used
to,
to,
I can
I can
use it
use
to
it to
carry
carry
length. For
length. For
example, I
example, I
want to
want to
carry
carry
maybe
maybe
3
3
centimeters. I
centimeters. I
can do
can do
that,
that,
right?
right?
I won't also use it, okay? This is my ruler. I can use it to measure a line or draw a straight line. I also need a sharpener to make sure that my pencil is sharp enough. I will need an eraser, unless, if I make a major mistake, I can simply erase, but I don't necessarily have to use it. This is a very important tool because I'll use it to measure all the angles, right? So that's very important. That is, this is a protractor, right? Protractor. And this is a compass, so I'll use it to draw all the arcs and circles and so forth, right? And of course I will need a pencil, okay? A pencil, okay? All right, so let us go ahead and start our 2025 paper. So in 2025 we have a question that asks us to construct a triangle PQR in which PQ is 8 centimeters, angle QPR is 50 degrees, and angle PQR is 70 degrees. So how construction normally works, you start with what starts what comes first in the question, right? So they say in which PQ is 8 centimeters. So let us go ahead and draw 8 centimeters, right? PQ. So right here in the center, right? So I'll just draw right here. All right, so this is my 0 right here, and this is my 8 here. I just put a point here so that I draw, I don't miss. So I just hold my ruler firm and my pencil. Obviously, it's advised just pass your pencil once. So that line which I have drawn here is exactly 8 centimeters. So it starts at P and ends at Q, and then I label it, right? This is 8 centimeters, okay? That is our 8 centimeters. Then we also have QPR is 50 degrees. So the angle, the letter which is in the middle, that is where the angle is. So it starts from Q, then goes at P, and then R is somewhere this side, right? But the angle is at P. So that is 50 degrees. I will get this. I'll get my protractor. You see this point here, there is a circle here. I put it exactly at P. And then my 0 here, I put it on the line coming from Q. All right, guys, so let's see. Let me put my 0 here. Okay, and my Q, right? My P here. Okay, so we measure it 50 degrees. So this is 0. 50 is right here. So I put my point here. All right, so I put that point. Is very important. So I leave it there. And because I don't know where the other point is, like, or where the other line is, so I can't proceed here. So I go on the next step, PQR. So PQR is 70 degrees. So from P, the angle is at Q. So from P, the line coming from P, I put my 0. So that is the line 0, right? So don't put 0 on the line, but put a line here which is labeled 0 on the line. Okay, so we are at Q. then we measure 70 degrees. So the measurement is on the outer side, right? So this is 0 and this is 70, like that. All right, guys, so this is the only information that I have. The next thing is, because I don't have any other information, so I will just draw straight lines, right, and connect through this point. Then where they will intersect, that is where my R is. Okay, so let's put a point here and another point on the point that comes from there. So I'll just draw like that. Okay, and then another point is right here, and another point is at P. All right, so I just make sure that I'm accurate enough so I can go all the way and just end exactly at this point on this line. Okay, so that is my triangle that is inside. The outer part, don't worry about it, right? You don't necessarily have to rub it, right? So this is my R there. So that is a triangle, PQR. Okay. Then the next question B says, measure and write down the length PR. So let us go ahead and measure and write down the length PR. So I am at R here, which is 0, and then I go all the way to P. Okay, so if you look closely here, this is 0, this is 8, right? So this is like 8. Let me do again. Okay, this looks like 8 point, this is 5, 6. Yeah, this is 8.6, right? So 8.6 centimeters. Okay, so again, your triangle may not be 8.6, maybe, I mean, the PR can be 8.5, can be 8.7, but make sure, I mean, the error should not be more than maybe 0.3, right? So it can be 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, in that range, meaning that it is accurate enough. All right, so that is just 1 point. So we have 2 points so far. Now they're saying that within triangle PQR, let us go ahead and draw the locus of points which are 3 centimeters from PQ. So 3 centimeters from PQ, when you measure your line from here to PQ, you want points that are 3 centimeters from PQ. In simple terms, we want a parallel line to PQ. So I'm going to cheat right here. I'll just measure 3 centimeters. So I just put my 3 centimeters on the line, and I make sure this is like straight on this line. So I just put my point on the 0 here. Then I go on it on the different point. I put my point right here. So that is exactly 3 centimeters. Then I just connect these 2 points. Okay, so I can rotate my paper. Yeah. Okay. So that is one way of doing this. I mean, this is the easiest one. I mean, easiest way of doing that. So within the triangle, right? So I just draw like that. Okay. If I want, I can measure. I mean, so from here, from PQ to a point here, right? Perpendicular line, it should be 8 centimeters. I mean, 3 centimeters. So I can label this line as C1. Okay. So another way of drawing this line is, you draw a perpendicular line to PQ here and another one here. Then you measure 8 centimeters and, I mean, 3 centimeters, and then you measure 8 centimeters. So let me come again. You can draw a perpendicular line, right? Perpendicular line to this line PQ, say here, and another one here. Then in that perpendicular line, just take 3 units, 3 centimeters and 3 centimeters. It will be exactly, I mean, this point and this point, and then connect. Okay, but I would use the first method. So I just measured 3 centimeters, right? Make sure your ruler is perpendicular to this line, and then you measure another 3 centimeters, then you connect the 2 points. Okay, so the next one says, so within triangle PQR, draw the locus of points which are 6 centimeters from R. So from this point we have 6 centimeters. So what I would do, I'll use my compass, and I go on 0, and then I carry 6 centimeters. So I make sure the compass is firm enough so that it doesn't move. So I put my point at R here, and then I do like that. So I'll just rotate my paper so that I can do this properly. Okay, so I just draw an arc within my triangle. Okay, so just like that. All right, so these are locus of points which are 6 centimeters from R there. All right, so if I want, again, I can label this as C2. All right, then the next question says we want the locus of points which are equidistant from P and Q. Equidistance from P and Q. So those points is just, when you say equidistance from P and Q, you just want to bisect or to divide PQ in half, right? To divide PQ in half. So what I will do, I will take my compass, right, and open with radius more than half of this line PQ. It shouldn't be half, because you want your lines to meet, right, when you put it on P and Q. So on this side, I'll draw an arc. Then with the same radius, I draw the arc on the other side. I lift the compass and put it on P. This is the point here, and then draw another arc to intersect my first arcs, right? So you can see the intersecting points. So this is the first intersecting point, and the next intersecting point is this one. Okay, let's hope you guys are following. So I'll have to make sure it passes exactly at this intersecting point here. Okay, no shivering, guys. Okay, so remember they said within the triangle, right? So I'll make sure that my line is just within the triangle, right? Just like that. If I want, I can draw a dotted line here. So when you draw a dotted line, this is a straight line. When you draw a dotted line, it means that the dotted part is not part of your solution, right? My solution is just this line, which is within the angle PQR. Okay, so we are done with what we are looking for. We have that locus of points. Now let us go on the last part, right? So this says a point. It says a point L, like a point L, which is within the triangle PQR, is such that it is less than or equal to 3 centimeters from PQ. So remember, we drew the locus of points which are 3 centimeters from PQ, which is right here on this line. But the point L is less or equal to 3 units from PQ, right? So meaning that when this is my 3 units points, so meaning that the L part will be below this line. Okay, so that is the first part. We are below this line. Then it says it is less than or equal to 6 centimeters from R. R is right here, and from this point to this point, this is where my 6 centimeters is. So if it is less or equal to 6 centimeters, meaning that the point is not beyond this arc right here. It should be in this region right here. Okay, but again it says, and it is nearer to P than to Q. It is nearer to P than to Q. Remember, we drew a bisector, right? A bisector of PQ. So meaning that if it is nearer to P, meaning that it's supposed to be this side, right? So having said that, we can conclude that the region is where? Which one are we going to shade? We're going to shade right here. Okay? So this is the shaded region, and we can label it, like L. Okay? So again, this region is less or equal to 3 centimeters from PQ. This is my margin line, 3 centimeters. So I know that I am below this line. Then it is less or equal to 6 centimeters from R, and this is a line which is 6 centimeters from this point. So I know that I'm not exceeding, I'm not beyond this arc here. Then it says it is closer to P than to Q. So because I drew a bisector, I am this side. So the region is right here. Hopefully this is understood, guys. The next question is coming from 2024, and it says construct a quadrilateral PQRS in which PQ is 8 centimeters, angle QPS is 110 degrees, angle PQR is 88 degrees, PS, the line PS is 7 centimeters, and the line QR is 10 centimeters. So again, we start with what comes first. So what comes first here is PQ. So I'm going to use my nice ruler here and put it, I can just put it either in the center or just below here, just a little bit. Okay, let's try here. Okay, so at point 0 I put my point, and I put my another point at 8, right? So since this line is 8 centimeters, I just do that. Okay, so what I've drawn here is an 8 centimeters line. So this is P, I label P Q, and this is 8 centimeters. Good. The next thing is that QPS. So QPS is somewhere here 110 degrees. So what do we need? We need a protractor. So right here, this is my protractor. I put, because my middle letter is P, so I put at P, and I put my 0 coming from this side. So this is my 0. Okay, so this is 0, and then I go up to right here. This is 110. Okay, 110. So make sure you are following, right? Okay, so I put my 110 here. So meaning that I know that P, Q to wherever S is, somewhere here, I have 110 degrees. So this is 110. I leave it there. Then I go to PQR is 88. So I go at Q. Then I put my 0 on the line coming from P. Then I measure 88 degrees. So I know this is 80. I know this is 85, 86, 87, 88, right here. So I don't doubt myself. I just put my point here. Okay, so this is my point. So I know when I draw a line, going this way, this angle is going to be 88 degrees. You can see the line, if I just put my ruler like this, it is going to be a little bit slant, right? It is not perpendicular. Perpendicular means 90 degrees. It's a little bit slant, so it's less than 90 degrees. All right. Then I know that PS is 7 centimeters. All right, so let's go ahead and carry 7 centimeters, right? So this is my 0. Then I do that. Okay, so this the length or I mean the width of this radius is 7 centimeters. So what I do, I put my point at P, right? And then I draw an arc. So I know the arc will be like that. Okay? That is what I know. So if I want, I can just connect, right? So I know there is a point here and another point at P. Okay, so I put my point at P, passing through that point that we put because of the 110. So I can do that like that. Okay, so I know for sure that my S is right here. Okay, that is my S. Okay, the next thing is that QR is 10 centimeters. So from Q to where R is, it is 10 centimeters. So this was 7 centimeters. I just, extend it to 10. So let me put my, like that. And this is 10 here. Let me just put right here so that I carry it accurately. So this is my 0, and that's too much. Let me reduce it a little bit, and yeah, okay, I think we should be good now. Okay, so this is 10 centimeters. So make sure that your compass is firm enough that it doesn't move, right? So I will put my point right here at Q and draw an arc on the opposite side here. Okay, and remember we measured 88 degrees, so this is my line that is passing here. Then I'm going to connect. So from this point from this point Q, passing through that line, I will connect to this arc. Good. So after connecting, we know that this is your point R. Okay. All right. So if you want, you can check, right? If I measure this angle Q is exactly 88 degrees. You see that? That is 88 degrees. If I measure this angle from the inside, is exactly yes, is exact 110. See that? This is 110. Right here, 110. Okay. All right, we are almost done drawing this. What was this? Oh, quadrilateral. Then let us go ahead and connect S and the point R here. So I put my point at R. And I put my point right here. Nice. Right. Okay, so let's connect like that. Okay. So this is the quadrilateral that this question is asking about. All right. So the next question in B says measure and write down RS. I knew it. So let us go to S, going to R here. So what is this measurement? So this looks like let's see, this looks like 10 point, yeah, I'm finding 10 point, it can be 10.5, 10.6. Oh, let me stick to 10.6. I measured 10.6. Okay, but when I did this problem at first, I want to be honest with you guys, yeah, I got like 10.5 centimeters, but with this scale, I'm getting 10.6, which is not bad, right? So it can be 10.6, 10.5, 10.7, right? But it cannot be 11, meaning that is wrong, 11. No. Okay. All right, so the next question says C is within the quadrilateral PQRS, construct the locus of points which are 6 centimeters from QR. So I'll just turn around my paper like this because this is my QR. So again, you can, I don't want to go through that stress, right? You can you can draw a perpendicular line at any line, say at QR, say a perpendicular line here and a perpendicular line here, and then measure 6 centimeters. Going this far, it measures 6 centimeters and then connect, right? Which is not a bad idea, but I don't like that method, right? So I'll just go through the easier one. So let's see here. I just measure 8 centimeters. So make sure your line, 6 centimeters line, is on this line QR. Okay, so this is 6 centimeters, so I just put my point at 0. I'm going to connect, right? I put my point there, then I do the same on the other side right here, say for example, and put my point right here. Yeah, then I connect these 2 points, but make sure you are within, right, within the triangle, the quadrilateral. So yeah, just like that, right? No stress, guys. So you know that you don't necessarily need that. So this is 6 centimeters. Okay, you can do that, or you can label this as, for example, this line is C1. All right, so my quadrilateral is like this. The next question says, so construct the locus of points which are equidistant from PS and RS. So that is two points. So this question, when they say equidistance from PS and RS, it is just the same as the angle bisector. So the letter which is common in PS and RS is S. So you are bisecting this angle at S right here. Okay, so to bisect an angle, guys, what you do is very simple. Okay, you just get your compass. Let me just open it. Extend my pencil a little bit. Okay, tighten it. So I open my pencil with any radius. Okay, with any radius, and draw an arc touching SR and the same radius touching SP. Then I lift the compass with the same radius on this intersecting point, and I draw an arc inside, right? And then I do the same on the other side. Draw an arc to touch this line like that. Then we are done, right? The next thing, I connect. So right here, passing through the center here. So I connect. So I make sure it is accurate enough. So I just put my point and fix my ruler. Okay, so within the arc, so I make sure my hand is firm on the ruler, and then I do like that. Okay, so that is locus of points. It's not very accurate here, but it's not bad, right? So you can see that if you measure this inside angle on the other side, it looks like let's see, this looks like, yeah, it looks like 45, and yeah, it looks like 45. You can see this is like 45 degrees, and another 45 here, which is 90. Yeah, so this angle and this angle, they are the same. You see that this angle and this angle, they are the same. So meaning that we have managed to draw the locus of points which are equidistant from PS and RS. Okay, we are almost done. Next, we are saying a point M, okay, a point M within the quadrilateral PQRS is such that it is 6 centimeters from QR. So it is 6 centimeters from QR. So Where is my QR? My QR is right here. So if it is 6 centimeters, meaning that it is on this line, right? On this line. That is what I know. And equidistance from PS and RS. Oh, that should be simple, because remember, the bisecting line is this line here, and my 6 centimeters is this line. So meaning that my M is exactly at this intersecting point, right? So label the point M. I've already labeled, right? Okay, so this is my M right here. All right, guys, so another point N. Now we're looking for N. So that was 1 point. So this is 2 points. Another point N within the quadrilateral PQRS is such that it is less than or equal to 6 centimeters from QR. Oh, so this is my QR, and the point is such that it is less than or equal to 6 centimeters, and my 6 centimeters is this line. So I know that it is below this area, and it is nearer to PS. It is nearer to PS than RS. So okay, so if it is nearer to PS, meaning that it is on this side, right? It is below this line and it is this side. Okay, we should be done. Indicate by shading the region, or this N should be right here in this region. Okay, right, so I just shade like that. Okay, that is within. So because remember, it is such that it is less than or equal to 6 centimeters from QR, then it is nearer to PS than RS. So it should be right here, and I've shaded the region N. Okay, so we're done, right? I just forgot to record. This is 110 degrees and this is 88 degrees. All right, guys, so we're done, right? In this problem, we are going to construct, so this is a 2023 paper question. So we're going to construct a trapezium, which is ABCD, in which AB is 10 centimeters, BC is 8 centimeters, AD is 7 centimeters, and angle ABC is 60 degrees, and angle BAD is 90 degrees. So 1 point, right? So again, we utilize our instrument. So I have my ruler right here, and I'm going to measure 10 centimeters. So let's see, let me move a little bit this side. All right, so this is my 0 right here, and this is my 10. So AB is 10 centimeters, like that. Oh, it has gone beyond, so I just have to erase, right? So yeah. So remember, I'd put my point here, so I have my, yeah, so this is exactly 10 centimeters. Okay. So I put A, B, and label 10 centimeters. Okay. Next, I know that BC is 8 centimeters. So I need to carry 8 centimeters on from my ruler. I use my compass. I carry, let's see. All right, so okay, this is 8 centimeters, so it's BC, so it's at B, right? I put my point at B. Just put a nice point, because maybe I'll need the point again. So make sure your ruler is firm enough. So I'll just draw the arc. It doesn't matter how large the arc is, but I know that it will connect at some point there, right? Okay. So that is B. So C, I know C is a point on this arc. Then AD is 7 centimeters. So this is 8. I just reduce it by one 1 centimeter. So let's see. Oh, I need to put it right here. So I do that. So I just squeeze it a little bit. Okay, and then I do that. I need to squeeze it more. Okay, let me do this so that you guys can see. Okay, so let's see. This is my 0. And I need to squeeze it a little bit again. Okay. Yeah, this is 7 centimeters, right? So 7 centimeters is at A, right? A to D. So so A to D. I don't know where D is, but I know D should be somewhere this side. Okay. So you can see that I drew 2 lines here, which is not good. So I will rub here. I will just erase everything because I may end up getting a wrong solution. Okay, so why did I draw 2 lines? Because I moved I moved this instrument, right, and unconsciously. So let me see again if, yeah, it moved. You can see this is not 7 centimeters anymore. So let's do that. So this is 7 centimeters. Then I put it on this point right here, and then draw an arc like that. So I'll make sure I won't draw another one again so that it doesn't move. Okay, so I know that from A to any point on this arc is 7 centimeters. Okay, then what we know is that AB to C is 60 degrees. So I need to use this instrument right here. You know, I put at B, my point at B, and the line coming 0, a point 0 coming from A. I make sure it is accurate enough. Okay, accurate enough like that. That should be good. Then I just squeeze it. This is 0, 60 degrees, right? So this is my 60 somewhere here. Okay. So if I want, I can just connect, go ahead and connect, because I know my 60 degrees passes here from point B here. I connect to that line. So again, I missed a little bit, but that shouldn't be bad, right? So I know that this is C. Okay. Then we know that BAD is 90 degrees. So 90 degrees is at A, right? So I just need to draw a perpendicular line at 90. I mean, if you want, you can just use your ruler and connect like that, which is not good, right? So what I do, I will get this line here and extend it a little bit. Okay, so my extension is like that. It's like just like a dotted line here. Okay, so why did I draw that? So that I draw a good perpendicular bisector. So let's see, I'm here. Okay, I'm here. This is my, okay, so I just draw an arc, yeah, touching the 2 lines, the dotted one and the line coming from AB. Then with the same radius here from AB, I draw another arc. I lift it and put on the same radius on the other side. We're almost done. Okay, with the same radius, I put here on the intersecting part, so that I can draw now 2 intersecting points. Yep. Then I should be good. Okay, so like that. Oh, it's moved again. So yep. Okay, that's okay. So I draw like that. All right, so that is what I was looking for. So this is a perpendicular line. So let's see, like that, you know, and then you can connect like that. Okay, if you don't want to go through this process, Since they said it is 90 degrees, which is a perpendicular line, you can just put your this instrument here, right? Your point here and your 0 coming from this line, like that, right? And then put a point at 90 right here, and then draw a straight line connecting A through this point, measuring 90 degrees to this line. Okay, so we should be good. Now the next thing is to close this thing. So let us go ahead and close it. So I just put my point right here. I put my point right here and another point on this line here. Then let us go ahead and close it like that. I'm just being careful because I don't want to go outside. Okay, like that. All right, nice. So this is my D. Okay, so we have our angle, our trapezium ABCD, right? Right, and this was, I think this was BC was 8 centimeters and AD is 7, so this line is 7 centimeters. Okay, then measure and write the length of CD. So where is CD? CD is this line. Okay, so this is 0. Okay, this is 0, and this is, yeah, let's see. So this looks almost 6 centimeters, right? So I want okay, yeah, it looks almost 6 centimeters, but it's not exactly 6 centimeters. Let's see again one more time. Okay, yeah, anyway, I'll just put it 6 centimeters, right? You see, it looks almost like 6 centimeters, but it's not exact 6 centimeters. And let's see one more time. Let me do this. So if I put my point here, so you need to measure like accurately, right? Yeah, so yeah, I mean, if you put 6 centimeters, it won't be bad, right? If you want, you can put, you know, 5.9, but 5.9 in here looks like very less, right? So let's go ahead and put 6 centimeters. 6 centimeters. All right, so the line DC is 6 centimeters. So use your own judgment, right? If you draw, I mean, if your scale is not accurate enough, probably you can get 5.9, maybe 5.8, but I doubt if you can get beyond 6 point something, right? It should be less than 6. Okay, so we have measured that length. Now within the trapezium, draw the locus of points, which are 2 centimeters from CD. So you can see that this thing is coming, is coming every time. So CD is on the other side, then I need 2 centimeters. So again, I just use, you know, the easier method. So I put my 2 centimeters on the line connecting CD like that. That is my 2 centimeters. And I put my point at 0. I do the same, 2 centimeters here, and I put my point at 0. Then I connect the two. I connect the 2 points. Okay. But remember, again, you are within the trapezium. All right, so let's see again. Okay, so within the trapezium, like that. All right, guys, so this line, I mean, from here to here is 2 centimeters. I drew on the opposite side. It's supposed to be the other way around, but that's okay. So 2 centimeters, then 9 centimeters from B, right? So this is B. I need to open 9 centimeters. So this is 0. This is 0, right? 0. And this is 9. Let's see. Okay, this is my 9 here, right here. Okay. So make sure it is accurate. So this is 9. So, right, 9 centimeters, I put it where at B. So within the trapezium, but 9 centimeters from B. All right, so let's draw an arc here. Right. Good. Like that, okay? So that is 9 centimeters. Remember, this was 90 degrees and this was 60 degrees. You can label that, okay? All right, so we have drawn that arc, which was locus of, which these are like locus of points that are locus of points which are 9 centimeters from B, right? So from B to any point on this line, on this arc is 9 centimeters. Then we want the locus of points which are equidistant from AB and AD. So again, when they say equidistant from AB and AD, you look at the common letter, which is A. So you are bisecting the angle A right here. So remember, this was a 90 degrees. So if you cut it in the middle, it will be 45. So to draw a bisector, you just need to draw, let's see again. I can use a different radius. So let me open with this radius. So I draw an arc cutting this line with the same radius. I do the same on the other side. Okay, I lift my instrument and put it on this intersecting point, and draw an arc in the middle. Then I will need, with the same radius, another arc from this other point as the center to intersect that first arc. So like that, okay? Then I connect with the original center, which is at A. So I just need to put a point right here on the intersecting point, and connect like that. Nice. Nice. Okay, good. So within, right? So I just draw within. So that's it, right? Interesting. All right, so we have the equidistant of points that are equidistant from AB and AD. So that is the line, okay? Now, a point E, so we want a point E within the trapezium ABCD is such that it is greater than or equal to 2 centimeters from CD. So remember, CD is right here and 2 centimeters ends right here. But these now are what? Are greater or equal to, so meaning that the point E is beyond this line, right? This way. And less than 9 centimeters from B. 9 centimeters from B. So remember, 9 centimeters is right here. So if you are less than 9 centimeters, meaning that you are below this line and you are below this arc. You are somewhere this side. So it's either it's here or here. But now we are nearer to AD than AB. So if you are nearer to AD, meaning that you are right here. So let us go ahead and indicate by shading the region in which E must lie. So E should be right here. Okay. And even right here in. All right, so again, this shaded region is greater than or equal to 2 centimeters from AD. 2 centimeters ends here. So we're beyond this line. And then let me use my divider. Yeah, we're beyond this line, right? We are like that, this way. Then we are less than or equal to 9 centimeters. 9 centimeters from B, ends on this line. We are below this. We cannot be on this side because this is in the 2 centimeter region. then we are closer to AD than AB. So we are close, which means we are beyond this line, but below this line and after this line. So this is the region E, right? Very clear, very clear, very clear. All right, guys, so let us end it here. In this problem, coming from 2022 paper 2, right? So we have question 5. We want to construct a parallelogram ABCD in which AB is 10 centimeters, AB is 10 centimeters, AD is equal to BC, which is 6.5 centimeters, and angle BAD is 110 degrees, and the angle ABC is 70 degrees. All right, so let us go ahead and get started, right? So we want, let's see, we want AB, which is 10 centimeters. So let us go ahead and put it right here. Okay, so 10 centimeters, right? So I have my 0 here and my 10 here. So let me connect these 2 points like that. Okay, so make sure your pencil is sharp enough, right? Mine is blunt, that is why it is writing big things like that, but this is not bad for visual sake, right? So this is A and this is my B, and this is 10 centimeters. Okay, all right, so we have our 10 centimeters. Then what we know is that AD, so from A to D we have 6.5, which is the same as BC, right? So let me go ahead and carry 6.5. So this is my 0, that is my 6, and my 0.5 is right here. A little bit more, a little bit less, more. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is my, so trust me, this is my 6.5 centimeters. So I put it at A, and I know that this is 6 centimeters, so I'll just do like that, right? I don't know how much I need, but this should be enough. Okay, or maybe I can extend it a little bit this side. Okay, then I also know that BC is 6.5, so I go at B, I do the same. So let's go at B and do the same. So I draw the same arc. All right, so like that, right? So I know that from B, my C is going to be on this arc, and then my D is going to be on this arc. All right, so what we know is that BAD is 110 degrees. So you know the instrument that you need to use to carry out, need to measure angles. So the middle letter is at A, so I put my point at A, and I need my 0 on this line. All right, so from the inner side, this is 0, 10, 110 is right here, where there is 70 here. Okay, so this looks like 70, but remember 70 is measuring from the left, right? But I need to measure from the right. Right, this is 0, so 110 right here. All right, guys, so I know that the line passes from this point to that point right there. Okay, that should be good. Nice. Okay, so this is where my D is. D, right? And remember, we just measured this as 110 degrees. And AD was 6.5. So this is 6.5 centimeters. Okay, so I have my 6.5 centimeters. I have my 110 degrees right here. Then I have AB. ABC is 70 degrees, 70. Members say 70. It's 70 degrees. Yeah, 70. So let's go here at the point and 0 to 1. I mean to 70 degrees, 70. Don't worry, members are my cousins. So let's go and do that. So it will pass here. Right, so that's my line. All right, so let's label our 70 degrees here and our 6.5 centimeters. Then we're going to connect these points right here. This question is interesting, right? Trust me, I've not solved this question before. The other problems I've solved them before, but this one, it's my first time solving it. So I believe the next point they would want us to measure that line. So this is C. All right, so yeah, B says measure and write down the length. Oh, they want the length AC. That's interesting. So remember, AC is this diagonal. So they want this diagonal. Nice. Okay. So let's see there. You know what? We can use a divider. You can use a divider if you want. So I can just put a point here and a point here at C. This is fun, right? Because just put like that. So, you know, this is exact, right? And then I just measure this length. Okay. Measure this length. So I put point at 0. Yep. Point at 0. And yeah, so this is 9 point. I don't know if you guys can see here. Okay, let me put it like this so that you can see. I can't use my left hand. Okay, I can. Let's see again. Right. Let's see. So I want it to be accurate enough, right? So okay, so that should be good, right? This should be good, right? And then I just use the same length. So I put it at 0, right? And if you look closely, this looks like 9.8, right? 9.8, 9.9. If I want, I can just measure it direct like that. Yeah, at 0, and yeah. So I put 9.8. Okay. So that took me a little bit longer because I wanted to make sure that it's accurate, right? So how do you write it? I mean, if you want, you can just write a line like this. Yeah, it doesn't matter. This is SC. I said 9.8 centimeters. Okay. Or if you want, you can write here on the side, right? This is B. I just write B and then just write, AC is equal to, I said 9.8 centimeters. So it could be 9.9, I think so, 9.9, maybe 10, but 9.9, 9.7, 9.8, something in that range. So you can just construct it as well and just show me, let us know what your AC is going to be, okay? All right, that was good. So what we've done so far is just 2 points, right? Now within the parallelogram, right? ABCD, construct the locus of points which are 3 centimeters from AB. So this is my AB. Again, I use the easiest method, right? So let me use a different pencil. Okay, so 3 centimeters. So I just put my line on my 3 centimeters on the line, and I put a point here. Okay, and then I do the same on the other side. I make sure, yeah, this line is, the 3 centimeter mark is on the line, and the other line on the other side is on the line. Then I put my point at 0. Then I can go ahead and, connect these 2 points. Put my pencil here, push my pencil here, and push the pencil right there. Okay. Then remember it's within, right? So I draw within. That was not very accurate, but it's okay, right? So this is like 3 centimeters. Okay, so that's it, right? Then the next thing is 6 centimeters from C. So my C is right here. So the locus of points, I need to carry, I use my pencil to carry 6 centimeters, right? So let's carry 6 in. So that looks like, yep, yeah, this looks like 6 centimeters already. Let's go and fix it at C and draw within our parallelogram. Oh, nice. Oh, beautiful. Yep. Like that. Alright, guys. So that is within. Okay. Then equidistance from BC and CD. So again, the common letter here is C. So you are bisecting the angle C. So let us go ahead and bisect the angle C. So I remember there was a point that I put already here. So I just draw an arc to cut the other side, to cut BDC, to cut DC, and to cut BC, right? With the same arc, I can put here and draw an inner arc which they are going to intersect. The same arc size, like that. Okay. My point of interest is this point here. Okay, so I just do like that. That is where my pencil is going to pass. So like that, and like that. Okay, guys. Yep. So just like that. And then remember it's within, so yep. Okay. Just like that. So we are almost done, right? Alright, so that part is done, right? That was the most tiresome part. Okay. So a point Z now, we are saying Z is within this parallelogram ABCD, in which it is less than or equal to 3 centimeters from AD. So our AD is this one. The 3 centimeter line is this line here. So this line is less than or equal to, so it cannot be above this line, it will be below this line. That is what we know. Then it is less than or equal to 6 centimeters from C. So this is my C here, and it is less than, meaning that it is, this is my 6 centimeter mark. So meaning that one, it is below this line, then it is below the 6 centimeter mark. So I have this region here. But wait a minute, it says it is nearer to CD than to BC. So if it is nearer to CD, remember the bisector is this line here. So if it is nearer to DC, meaning that it is on the other side of this line, but it is less than 3 centimeters and less than 6 centimeters. So clearly this is the region of interest. Okay, and this region, they said, indicated by shading the region in which Z must lie. We shaded and we can write our Z in here. All right, so we're done, right? So the last part was like 2 points, and this is the end, right? We are done, guys. The last problem in the series says construct a triangle ABC in which AB is 6 centimeters, BC is 9 centimeters, and AC is 5 centimeters. This should be quite simple, guys. So I'm going to leave it as an exercise, right? So you construct in that angle a triangle in which AB is 6 centimeters, BC is 9 centimeters, AC is 5 centimeters. Then you're going to measure and write down the size of angle ABC. You know what to do. Then within the triangle ABC, you're going to draw the locus of points which are equidistant from A and C, right? So equidistant from A and C, it means you are just bisecting, perpendicular bisector of the line AC. Yeah, cutting it in the middle. Then equidistant, from 3 centimeters from A, you're just putting your compass at A and draw an arc, with radius 3 centimeters. Then equidistant from AC and BC, you are just bisecting angle C, right? And then the last part you can just enjoy, right? So, alright guys, so this is how we go about construction. Let me know if you have any question, guys, and if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please consider giving us a thumbs up, subscribing, send us a comment, and share with other people so that they can also benefit from our our material. If there is any topic you want to you want us to present, just send us a comment in the comment section of the next topic that you want to see. All right, enjoy and all the best in your exams.